This is some dumb environmental shit out of Australia. Calls for landlords to face mandatory solar installation for tenants. Please explain how this is in any way productive for anybody who owns property. Like, well done.
And of course, then the landlord will be told, "Oh no, you can't raise rent. What are you thinking?"
Oh, exactly. Because what's the fucking return on investment for a landlord for fucking sticking solar panels on a rental?
I wonder what the carbon footprint of this is. All that lithium.
You might have a look at that.
I don't even care about the carbon footprint anymore. I care about the slavery footprint.
Yeah, as Major points out, it's not meant to help. It's meant to break the backs of property owners. Yeah, like, I hate the idea that some landlords own hundreds of properties, but this is stupid. This is in no way sustainable for landlords. They've got to fork out, what, $6,000 plus fucking dollars for all their properties? And there's no return on investment whatsoever? Like, it's one thing if you're living in the house. If you get really, really lucky, you might break even before you have to replace your solar panels in 10 years. Assuming you clean them every weekend.
I really hate this.
Yeah, BlackRock will buy it all up at 0% interest. Yeah, that's right, Major.
Energy, so panels might be efficient, except for the production of them. The production of solar panels is very, very expensive.
And even then, they're really inefficient because they only work half the fucking day.
Yeah. Imagine if all of these houses just had an independent nuclear reactor, eh?
Yeah,
what a marvel that would be. You'd have enough power for one house to power the entire village if they needed to.
Yep. But there's, microreactors, the one thing the French got right before they so
got the bed.
Yeah, basically. So there's this. The other stupid thing about this is it costs even more to get batteries, and I think they taxing you for the batteries as well. Like, if you want to store the energy, you also have to pay for that privilege. So if you've just got solar panels, at best you are getting a 4-cent a kilowatt feed-in tariff during the day when you're not there using power, and then when you come home at night, you've achieved what exactly?
I'm sorry, I misread Little Green Martian's comment earlier. He said solar energy is the least efficient energy source as well, even less than wind. Sorry, I thought you were going to say it was efficient. I was like, what?
I think CSG, so Craig, said solar won't even save you that much money anyways, because you're probably not going to be home to use it. This is back on the Discord when the article first came out. If you put a 5 kilowatt system on and you get the very best capacity factor of it, you're not of 25%. With a 5-cent feed-in tariff, you will make $1.50. It's more likely to be 10% and you'll get 60 cents. CSG also said the only benefit of solar to a landlord is increasing property value, which doesn't really help for rental properties. Installing solar might be okay for negative gearing, but if you can use all the power from the solar, you'll save like $5 a day. Yeah, but it doesn't even make sense for a homeowner to install for themselves. But for a property owner to install for their fucking tenants? Unless they're giving all that money straight back to the landlord, in which case they're no better off. The landlord's at a fucking loss for no value gain to them. It's just pissing money away.
Not only that, but it will increase the cost of housing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because solar panels are like $5 or $6 grand. Like, if you were to put one on your own house, at best, you might break even after 10 years. Just in time to have to replace the solar panels because they wear out. And, oh yeah, you have to put them in landfill because they haven't figured out how to recycle them cost effectively yet. And actually, that is an article that we will quickly look at. Yeah, concerns raised in disposal of solar panels. A recent BBC article revealed solar panels could be an eco-disaster. The quote says it's going to be a waste mound by 2050 unless they get recycle chains going now. Turns out these things have a maximum lifespan of 25 years and then it's hello landfill. But problem is, you're not going to get 25 years. All the solar panels in your postcode are going to get wiped out every year or so. Every 2 or 3 years. Because if you happen to live in somewhere that's got hail that gets up to impressive sizes, well, you get this. Take a look at this picture here, if I can get it to open up. And then zoom in.
And it doesn't even have to be all that big to do this kind of damage.
Yeah.
Pea-sized hail will do that.
Oh yeah, so we've got...
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if it gets the right
You've never
velocity.
been in a hailstorm, have you, Crow?
So each of these houses...
I've seen hail, but in the UK, hail is pretty, like, meh.
Yeah.
It's probably about the same as it is here in Newfoundland. It's kind of grain-sized sesame seed at the most. Yeah. I've lived in places where it comes down like grapefruit. Yeah,
the problem is, in Australia, we consistently get no more than 5 years apart golf balls.
Yeah.
We regularly get golf ball size, at least up in the northern bit of Queensland where I live. So this is within a not... This is within a day's travel of me. And yeah, like, look at all these houses. Every single solar panel completely destroyed. Completely useless.
No, wait, I think I see 2 that look okay.
Yeah, but they're going to have to be replaced because the whole system they're with is destroyed. Oh, and fuck anyone who installs tiled roofs, especially cheap tiled roofs. Take a look at this other house, the third one up from the bottom
all
left.
The fucking tiles are destroyed.
The entire roof needs to be replaced, which is fine because if you're getting pea-sized hail. Also, you make the tiles differently. You make them like 3/4 of an inch thick. In Australia, they make them out of cement, and they're flat and about a centimetre thick. On new housing developments like this.
Why?
Because they're cheap. Because in places...
Even our ones are made of actual slate.
Yeah. The problem is, in housing developments like this, they put up a house that's designed to last 5 minutes.
They got slate in Australia, Crow. It might be somebody's grandmother.
Oh, dear. But no, the housing developments here are ridiculous. They're astonishingly cheap, using the worst fucking materials available. And then you end up with absolutely destroyed roofs like this.
So we're essentially all slowly and surely realizing that we're living in shanty towns. Just they look a little nicer, that's all.
Do they, though? Does this look nicer than the average shanty town? Also...
Mildly? I'd say there's less corrugated steel everywhere, I guess.
Lawns are groomed better.
Problem is, Crow,
that's about it.
In some of these houses, the gutters are overlapping. Your house is so close to your neighbours that your gutter overhangs their roof.
What happened to Australia having so much land that you had massive acres of backyard?
Well, they decided that... Well, that was before they decided to import 10% of the fucking population every year, wasn't it?
I remember when we lived on Ellis Street in Frankston, Melbourne, we actually had a whole fucking acre in our back garden. We had a massive fucking tree that my brother could climb up and climb on top of the roof.
Well, that's why I don't live in a big city. One, I wouldn't save any money because apartments are ridiculous. But two, if I want to go to the back fucking fence, I need to take a packed lunch. And that's in suburbia within 10 minutes of the CBD of my city.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because it's a really old neighborhood, as in it's all from like the 50s and earlier. So it's got the original. I just don't see any
reason to be like packing people in Australia.
Major says he remembers that stream. That was awesome. Is one of the first times when I watched. Actually, I thought, Jesus, that basic guy sure gets excited. Yeah, that would be the one where I was actually showing the pictures of the overlapping fucking gutters. It's unreal.
Yeah. Sickening. The windows are so close you could pass beer between the houses during a party.
Yeah, like look at these. Absolutely fucking shattered, and that's some serious size hail. And we get this like within 5 years. Actually, let me see if I can... Fuck it. We're about to end up anyway, so we can't start a new segment. Let me see if I can find those overlapping fucking gutters.
See if I can find something for Crow.
Is it shiny?
And see if I can find footage from a good hailstorm.
I mean, I've seen proper hailstorms. I've seen proper thunderstorms and all. Especially because you have to remember I was in Australia, although I was very young when we left.
Yeah, Alberta, not unusual to see, like, golf ball. A couple of times I've been in softball and baseball-sized hail. Like, it was insane. There's no sound like it when it's coming towards you.
How's this do you when it loads? Crow? Oh, fucking assholes. No, so we'll just go back to the Google one. How's that? Are those houses close enough for you, Crow?
You can see daylight between
paint the wall.
Spray guns.
Good fucking question. They must have painted it, then lifted it up in place.
I mean, I'm used to terraced housing in the UK, so we're literally built side by side.
At least it's designed that way. Well, that's my logic. If you're going to build the houses here's another one. There's even a fence in between those two houses.
A fence.
A fence. More.
I wonder what that fence is meant to prevent.
The cat getting out, apparently. Literally overlapping gutters. It's like, why the fuck would you live in a place like that? If I wanted to live that close to my fucking neighbors, I'd live in an apartment in a better city.
It's almost like when they build the actual wall up to the line of the property and then think, oh, wait, actually, gutters have to go over. It doesn't matter. Well,
that's the problem. They're dividing the properties to get as much money out of them as possible, and the councils are letting them get away with it. Like, this shit is illegal.
Yeah, that's a massive fire hazard.
Yeah, no shit.
It will result in a massive fire and like fire of London, and then there'll be lawsuits, but it'll be too late with lots and lots of deaths.
Yeah. Like, I was out with my team one time when we got called in to do some roof repairs, and if it hadn't been for the bloody safety equipment we were wearing, we could have repaired the entire neighborhood without climbing down the ladder. We could have just climbed up at one end of the street, walked down the fucking block. And yeah, these are in all their fancy new green neighborhoods, because all these houses have frigging solar panels on them like this.
I imagine these places burned down. All of those solar panels will produce so much fucking pollution.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, they're not. The houses aren't designed to last. They're made out of cheap material. They're useless. Like, all the tiles need to be replaced. The solar panels need to be replaced. And good fucking luck if you're seeing if your insurance covers acts of fucking God. There's a lesson for you folks. Go see if your house insurance actually covers solar panels for hail damage. In fact, while you're out, see if your car insurance covers the car for hail damage. Because it's every time we have a big storm in Australia, it's thousands of cars written off because there's so much bodywork damage that it would cost more than the value of the car to repair the bodywork. And while you're at it, check that it covers if the house 5 blocks down catches fire and the fire spreads up. Major says that's not offense, that's why I swore. If I was an architect, I'd be ashamed to admit I had anything to do with that. Well, the problem with places like this is an architect designs 3 or 4 houses, and then the builder just goes, cool, we'll make 600 houses out of that. And you can actually see that in this photo. Like, these houses are identical, or you can at least see how the design process went. Like, you can see the tin roof and the tiled roof on the left-hand side. That's the same fucking house, just that one of them was smart enough to ask for the tin roof.
I hate the weird, unnecessary extra triangles everywhere.
Me too, because as someone who's had to go up there and clean out the bloody things, it's a pain in the fucking ass. Because what happens, especially in Australia, when you've got stupid triangles like that, the triangle catches leaves. So the leaves block it up. When it rains, the rainwater comes down from, I think everyone can see, at least the chat can see my mouse. The water builds up at the top, rolls down, hits a bunch of leaves, can't go down, so it goes sideways. What's sideways? Inside the fucking roof. Roof starts leaking, insulation gets soaking wet, roof collapses. Sorry, not roof, ceiling collapses.
I just don't see the point of it. It's just creating literal places for things to get caught.
Yeah. No, it's so
not even efficient design. It's just look at the one on the right, one up from the bottom.
Yeah,
it's just unnecessary triangles that aren't doing anything for the design or the appearance.
Yeah,
they're not
hundreds of places extra for leaves to get blocked. Like, in a lot of places in Australia, you don't even want gutters because of the bushfires. The smarter option is to just build a nice, proper, 4-sided roof, leave the gutters off, then the leaves just slide down and off, and then you can sweep them up with a dustpan and brush. Callum says he needs to send these to his friend who's a landscape artist, and some of this is going to trigger him.
Even though the cookie cutter builds in the UK that are fucking atrocious, I live in one, trust me, I know, even these are better than what I'm seeing in this designs work in Australia.
Yeah, like, the houses just are covered in overlaps. Like, look at these pieces of shit. Why do you need multi-tiered roofs like this? Like, what the fuck's going on here? or this is my other pet peeve, if we can get the decent picture. Oh, we can't make the entire building that wide, so we're going to stick an extra little roof on it. Reasons. That's a fucking 2-story house on the right there. Poorly designed pieces of crap that are literally over the property line.
What do lines mean anyway? We're all criminals anyway, after all. Fucking hell, it's a mess. It's a complete mess.
Yeah. And these are the environmentally friendly new builds that are approved for environmental. Because we've got to put in these new housing developments because our population is growing rapidly. Because the government wants to import 500,000 people a year in a country of 27 fucking million. 27 million people in this country. Government wants to import 500,000 a year. Like, I know your stupid fucking government wants to import 1 million a year, aren't it? But at least you've got slightly more than 50 million people. Slightly.
Yeah. Also, I think we probably have slightly more actually habitable land than you guys do.
Possibly.
Mhm.
So yeah, so with these stupid solar panels that they want landlords to pay for, that are going to make the landlords no money, that aren't really even going to save that much money for the people who live there because they're not going to be home during the day. So they're going to be buying it back for hundreds of times the cost at night. Ridiculous. Utterly fucking ridiculous. And yeah, then they've got to dispose of them every 25 years or every time a hailstorm comes through.
Somebody in chat had pointed out that when they first saw this image, they thought it was a graveyard. Not wrong.
And
Aesthetically, not wrong.
I've seen fucking tombs. I've seen graves set further apart, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
And yeah,
graves set further apart in Louisiana.
Yep. And yeah, could you imagine living in a shithole like this? Like, fuck me dead. Why wouldn't you just live in an apartment? Oh, I've got a backyard. Yeah, you can't even get your wheelie bin into the backyard because there's not even a meter between the house and the fence.
Your wheelie bin has to go through the house.
Presumably. At least I don't think we have frigging homeowners associations, so you don't have fucking Karen demanding you give her $100 every week because your wheelie bin's visible. Oh yeah, there we go. We can actually see some in the bottom left there.
It just looks like really lazy terraced housing.
Yes, and that's exactly what it is. It's lazy terraced housing. Because in terraced housing, you need to put fireproofing between the two buildings. Doing this, you don't need to pay for any fireproofing. It'll be fine.
When you say terraced housing, Crow, do you mean houses that are connected but are kind of in rows and different heights?
You've not seen terraced housing in the UK?
I guess I haven't, no.
It's quite common because we used to have factory cities that it is one of the...
I think I know what you're talking about because I think parts of St. John's are still done that way.
Possibly.
Let me get this picture. I'll put it in the chat in here.
Okay, yeah, no, okay, I see what you're talking about now.
I'll just get up some Google.
It's similar, yeah.
It's terraced
Yeah,
housing.
places like that.
Yeah,
that's terraced housing.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Like each house. I mean, but you don't get much in things like gardens. You maybe got a backyard, and that was it.
Yeah.
Even in Bath, the terraced housing isn't exactly the nicest.
Well, it's basically apartments, but before they could make them 100 stories tall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we call them row houses here.
But that would be a much more efficient way of using the space in Australia without causing as many problems. Because look at those roofs. They're all one roof. They're not all weird, stupid, higgledy-piggledy bollocks that's going to get in the way.
Yeah, it's fucking ludicrous. If you enjoyed this segment from the Sons of Chardonnay podcast, please consider joining us live exclusively on rumble.com/c/Sons of Chardonnay. A special thanks to our Subscribe Star supporters who you can currently see scrolling past on your screen.